I want to talk about your perfectionism. Yes, you. I know that you have perfectionism, and I'm not here to judge you because I am a perfectionist in recovery. There's still bits and pieces of my life where I gotta reel it in. I'll never forget being in grad school. I was in this one class and I saw that I was going to make a B and I needed to get a 4.0. Why did I need to get a 4.0? Because I needed to get a 4.0. There was no rhyme or reason. It's just something that I wanted. And by the time I ended this class, I want to say it was an addictions class. Not 100% sure. But this professor gave me a B. When I tell you I was steaming on the inside, I was so pissed off. I was going to go rate the professor after the class. I was going to do the survey and the feedback form and express all the reasons why this professor was horrible because I worked my butt off to get an A and they gave me a B, which then had me graduating with a 3.98. Now, I know there's some people who are listening to this and they're saying, Natasha, you graduated with a 3.98. Yes, I did. And I get it now. I get where you're coming from now. But back then, I was so hell bent on being perfect and getting that 4.0 that the idea of not getting it because of this professor, it took me into a spiral. And I know that a lot of you that are listening, that are watching, you've experienced this before. You know what it's like to go through life and have an idea in your head of how you want something to go, how you want to live your life, how you want this particular strategy to go. It's all planned out. And when things don't go the way that you want it to go, it can literally wreck your mind. It can wreck the functioning of your life. And I want to talk about where that comes from, how in reality, it's hurting you. Not only is it hurting you, it is breaking down your mental and your physical health, and the things that you can do to start feeling better and moving in a different direction today. Now, remember, this is a judgment-free zone. I'm having this conversation with you because I am somewhat on the other side. So I can see a little bit clearly, and I have done the things that I am telling you. There's no way that I would put something here to you if I have never done it. Before we get into what it is that could be helping you with your perfectionism, I want you to understand, especially as a Black woman, where the roots of perfectionism come from. So we know that our ancestors, they came from a place of survival where if it was not perfect, that could be life or death. And I say this all the time, that doesn't just go away because we're not that far removed. We're about maybe 3 generations. Some of you that are listening to this aren't even 3 generations removed. And so when one person in our line is operating off of survival mode and I have to be perfect in order to keep my family safe, in order to keep myself safe, in order to live my life, their children see that, their children's children see that. Like it just keeps going. And unfortunately, our generation, my generation, I am some would say a Jerry millennial. I'm just going to say millennial. We have become the ones that have started to look at things a little different and make different decisions. We have decided, this whole idea of being perfect to be accepted, which made so much sense back then, we're not going to knock it. And sometimes we have to keep it a buck. In situations, it's for survival now. It may not be life or death, but maybe it is. Maybe it's I have to keep my job, right? I have to do this. I have to put on this mask and be perfect because of the microaggressions, because of my boss, because of coworkers, because people nitpicking at me. Even sometimes at school, professors don't like me. I had a student come talk to me the other day about this power dynamic they're having with their professor, and they were worried about what was going to happen. So there is this idea of survival in certain situations. However, now we have more tools and we have more skills and we have more support to help us understand and be able to maneuver through those situations. Not only do we come from this long line of survival mode, the world, I'm just going to say it, the world expects for us to be strong and to be resilient at all times. And that puts this halo over our heads that we feel like we have to match that. Oh, you think I'm perfect because you've seen X, Y, and Z? Let me live up to that standard. Let me get that external validation. Let me honor what you're feeling towards me by making sure that I'm perfect so that whatever pedestal you have me on, I never fall off of it. Perfect doesn't exist. The idea of being put on a pedestal, the idea of being the strong one, wearing the cape and taking care of everything, because that's what we've always seen. Everything has always been on the backs of Black women, whether we want to admit it or not. It leads to us believing that we have to be perfect. And then when we believe we have to be perfect, those in our lives, whether it's our friends, whether it's our daughters, our nieces, our goddaughters, whoever, they see us doing it. So they're like, oh, well, I mean, that's what we do. Why would I do anything different? And we keep the line going of perfectionism, which means we keep the line of decreasing our mental, physical, emotional, all the health that we have in order for us to meet this external view of us. And it's not even the world, it's not even society. There are some of you that have family members that are putting so much pressure on you because you are the first generation of a lot of things. And so it lays on your shoulders to make them proud, to represent your family in the best way. That can lead to this fear of failure because I don't want to let you down. I don't want to let you down. I don't want to see the look in your eyes when I tell you that I didn't pass this class, or I didn't get this job, or I didn't make this money, or I didn't get X, Y, and Z accolade. Now I can see the disappointment in your eye and it's breaking me. Some of you out there legit are taking care of not just your immediate family, but other elements of your family. Some of you are in that in between stage of taking care of kids and also taking care of parents or grandparents, whatever it is that you're doing. So there is this fear of, if I don't get X, Y, and Z done, I have let them down. I can't care for them. I can't do X. I can't do Y. Also, being the breadwinner, the head of the household, whether you're partnered or you're single, that's heavy. And so a lot of your lifestyles, a lot of your well-being lays on, I have to be perfect. This is how I get this. In order to live this lifestyle, I have to put in 150% so that I can continue to have this. And then also there's just a magnificent amount of guilt that I notice that a lot of you are having when it comes to prioritizing your rest, when it comes to prioritizing your self-care and your pleasure. It gives this I am selfish and I need to constantly be reaching for another goal. I can't celebrate myself. I need to move on to the next goal. I need to constantly be producing, or I'm not worth anything. Honestly, it comes down to, if you're not moving, if you're not making people proud, if you're not showing up for other people, if you're not constantly giving 100, I won't even say 100%. If you're not constantly giving 150%, you're not worthy and you're not valuable. And again, this makes perfect sense. Because for our ancestors, if they were not able to cook, if they were not able to tend to the kids, if they were not able to go out there and pick the cotton or whatever it is that they're doing, you are of no value to the master. You are not worthy. I either need to get rid of you or I need to beat it into you. So it makes sense. And I also want you to recognize that that's not where we're at anymore. And so you're allowed to have rest. You don't have to do anything to get rest. You are worthy and valuable of rest, self-care, self-satisfaction, all of the things, just because you exist in this world. And I know sometimes it's hard to hear that and internalize it and process it and say, you know what, I am, because there are so many stories that aren't yours. There's so many people that have told you in your lifetime that you are not. And one day you got tired of being beat down by that message. So you accepted it. So what do I do to prove to you, to prove to these external people, these external factors, that I am worthy and I am valuable? I'm going to do it. I'm going to be productive. I'm going to do all of the things and show you. And sometimes even that isn't enough. So even if that's not enough, at what point do you decide, I can't do this for you, them, all of y'all anymore? I have to do this for me. And the truth of the matter is, there are situations, there are places, whether you're in the workplace or you're in social settings or you're just around a certain amount of people, where they will make you feel like you do need to be validated by them, where you do question yourself, where you do say, what is it? I have to work twice as hard and to get half, what is it? I got to be twice as good or work twice as hard in order to get half of what someone else gets. which then is like, I gotta go. I have to work hard. I cannot make mistakes. I cannot screw this up because I can't let them see me shake. I can't let them see me fall. That imposter syndrome starts to creep up. And I know for me, when I first started to explore the business world, I really struggled with if I belonged. So it's like, I don't know the things that a lot of people know when it comes to business. I know a lot, but I don't know how to maneuver this space. And I would watch people maneuver the space, and my logical brain, like it, even now when I'm listening to people's podcasts or watching live workshops and things of that nature, I'll listen to the things that they're saying and I'm like, they're not saying or doing anything that is super wow, that is super crazy. I always find myself saying, I could do that. I talk about those things with my clients, or what they're saying actually isn't really correct, but I mean, I get where they're trying to go with it, and I do that all the time. And there's this little voice in the back of my head that's like, we'll just do it. We'll just do it. But then that imposter syndrome comes in when it's time for me to do something. And I'm like, oh my gosh, do I know enough? I need to take in more information. I need to do X, Y, and Z. I need to take another course. I need to get another certification. I need to read another book, listen to another podcast. I need to do another masterclass. There's all these things that I need to do. And I don't. And you don't, we aren't inadequate. We're very smart. Some of you have so many degrees, so many letters behind your names. You have so many scholarly articles and books, and you are it. You are it. But at the end of the day, you sit at the edge of your bed and you question if you're enough. How can I tweak this to make it more perfect so that I am valuable and worthy to these people out here? And I'm here to tell you, you don't have to be. Perfect does not exist. You are doing so good. And I don't know if it was another podcast episode or if I was a guest on somebody's episode, but your 100%, hear me when I say this, your 100% is someone's 20. Your 100% is someone's 20. You don't have to do your 100%. While you're out here grinding and going and pushing and going hard, believe me when I say you don't have to work that hard, and you're still going to look amazing. You're still going to knock it out of the park. You still going to have people looking at you like, gosh, wow, like look at her. Look at how she shows up. Look at what she got going on. And you haven't even scratched the surface of your 100%. So I'm inviting you to scale back on the percent of energy that you put out into this world so that you can pour back into you. So that you can understand, why do I feel like I have to be perfect? Why do I feel like I need these external validations? Who am I trying to prove myself to? Why am I trying to prove myself to them? Do I need these people in my life? What boundaries do I need to set up so that I can do more pouring into me, so that when I do give my 100%, I'm not even killing any energy in my cup. I'm not pouring from anything. You're getting the excess. That's what you're getting. You will never get from my cup, because I pour so much into me. You won't get from my cup. You won't faze me. That's where I want you to be. Now, I like when you talk to me. So if you have an idea of where the root of your perfectionism comes from, I would love for you to talk back to me. So you can put it in the comments. You can drop it for me. Let's have a conversation. And let's see how you can get supported in moving into the next step. The best thing that you can have going for you is the awareness. The hardest part is getting to a place of acceptance of where it comes from. And then once you're there and you grieve some of the things, some of the relationships, some of the people that you thought cared about you, when in reality they don't really like you, whether it's family or friends, then we can get some momentum. Then we can get the ball rolling. Now, here's why you don't have any more time to wait. You have no more time to wait on working on your perfectionism. It is costing you your mental and emotional health. I recently started working on a college campus, and the amount at a HBCU, mind you, the amount of ladies that come in that are struggling with not feeling like they're good enough, struggling with anxiety, struggling with depression, because like me, I really, really need to get this 4.0. I really, really need to get this 4.0. And I'm like, well, why? I just do. I need to be excellent. I need to carry myself in this particular image, but they're burnt out. Their perfectionism has led to them completely forgetting about self-care. I don't even want to say them, you. Your perfectionism has left you burnt out in your mind, in your body, and in your spirit. You have sacrificed your self-care. And I'm not just talking about this commercialized view of self-care, of massages and vacations and getting your hair done. I'm talking about the bare minimum self-care. Go into the bathroom. You sacrifice your bladder to send out one more email, to finish one more training, to run one more errand, to do one more thing for someone else. Now your body don't trust you to do the bare basic, which is relieve me when I have to be relieved. You're not eating. You're working through your lunch. You're not moving your body. You're not stretching. You're sitting in the same spot for 8 to 10 hours and then wonder why your body hurts so much, why your mind hurts so much. You're sitting in front of screens for hours on end, and then you don't understand why you have severe migraines every week. Perfectionism is breaking down your body. Perfectionism is having you disconnect from the true version of yourself, which is not constantly productive. Now you don't know what you want. You've been so busy performing for everyone else and making sure that the way that they see you is that you can do no wrong and you have no clue what you want. I could ask you right now and you can let me know, what is it that you want? And I want a real answer. And if you don't know, again, no judgment. So many people that come to me, my private practice, at my job, have no clue what they want. It's about awareness. If you don't know, that's a great place to start because I have the tools to help you know. You just got to admit that you don't know. And you have to admit that the way that you have been doing things is the reason you don't know what you want, because you are at the bottom of the totem pole, because you're trying to do things perfectly. You're trying to live a perfect life, which is not real. You're trying to be this perfect person, which does not exist. So you're going to keep spinning your wheels and spinning your wheels and spinning your wheels for something that you are never going to get. Sometimes things just got to be good enough. And when I get more information later on down the line, then I can come back and I can tweak this. It's still just going to be good enough because perfect doesn't exist. And now, because you don't know what you want, when you do meet someone, whether it's me that is a support system, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's family, whether it's someone that genuinely comes to you and says, how can I take stuff off of your plate? Like, how can I help you? What do you want? You have no way of communicating it. And so you say, I don't need help. I got it. I can do this myself. Biggest lie ever. Biggest lie ever. You are disconnected from your desires. You are disconnected from your pleasure. And you think that the only time that you can get pleasure and have fun is after you've earned it. I can't go on vacation until I work such amount of weeks. I can't buy this thing until I've gotten this particular grade. What? Pleasure is deserving because it is. It is your birthright. You don't have to do anything for it. Not only do you not allow yourself pleasure, but a lot of people come into my office. I work from home. But a lot of people come to me wanting help with their sensuality, wanting help with their sexuality, with enjoying pleasure in a physical sense. And that's stifled because you are so fixated on things being perfect that now you want to control everything. And you always want to look put together. Some of those elements of sexuality and sensuality, it's not about being put together. It's about being present. It's about accepting and asking for help. It's about just being. It's about telling people what you want. It's about allowing people to give you pleasure, and some of them not even wanting anything in return. And sometimes you think it's a sham. That's not real. I've never met anyone who wants to just give me something just cause. Where's the other shoe? When's the other shoe gonna drop? It's not gonna drop. There are people out here that want your cup full. There are people out here that want to see you happy and have everything that you want. There are people out here that want you to know what you want. They hate to see you ripping and running yourself into the ground, and half the time you don't even know why, which then leads to your strained relationships. And I know this also well. One of the reasons that I started making pivots in my pleasure, in my self-care, and my rest is because I used to go to this job. It was 45 minutes away, and I live on a good day 30 minutes outside of Atlanta, but it took me an hour and something to get to work and an hour something to get home. I did not like my job. I wasn't happy there. I wasn't happy with the way that I was being treated. And I would get home and I would be so nitpicky. I would be so nitpicky and I would be so controlling and I'd be so angry and irritable and frustrated, and I would take it out on the people at the house because I was burnt out. And if things weren't perfect, my image of perfect, I would get so angry with people. I still struggle with that. I'm aware though, and I'm able to take in the criticism and hear what people say when I want something done the way that I want it, and there is no rhyme or reason of why I want it that way. It's just the way that I want it. But at that point, it was how I was getting in arguments every day with my partner. I was frustrated with my kids, which led to me like, I don't want to deal with none of y'all. I don't want to deal with nobody. Now there's this avoidance of intimacy. I want you hugging me, kissing me. I don't want to go nowhere with you. I don't want to deal with you. So what we don't want is your perfectionism to lead to this road of resentment and frustration. Because you have a person who is an energy vampire and wants so much from you, and you just want to make things perfect for them because you're a people pleaser. Or you have someone that wants to do for you, wants to care for you, and because things have to be done the way that you want them, aka perfect, you don't let anybody help you. You don't trust them. You don't trust their ideas. You don't trust that they can show up for you. You don't trust any of it. So you would rather continue to burn yourself into the ground doing it yourself. I feel like the trade-off perfectionism versus a healthy life, healthy relationships, I feel like the trade-off it's pretty apparent. I don't know about you. And if you know the trade-off and you're saying, okay, all right, Natasha, stop yelling at me. I hear you all up and through this video. And I want you to start taking the necessary steps to break free and be okay with things being imperfect. Perfectly imperfect, whatever. So the first thing I want you to do is accept and honor that you struggle from perfectionism. We've talked about where it comes from. You didn't just come into this world thinking I have to be perfect. There were so many messages. There were so many things instilled in you for you to be that. So it's not necessarily your fault. Now, once you're aware and you choose not to do anything about it, that's different. Once you listen to this video, watch this video, and you're like, okay, I'm not doing anything with that information. That was great to listen to. I'm going to go on with my life. You've made a choice. You have made a choice. Don't just take in this information and don't do anything with it. Because now whatever is the outcome of your decision is the outcome of your decision. I'm going to leave that there. Start with being very compassionate and giving yourself grace. By being kinder to yourself, we are our worst critic. We are our worst critic. So your mind is in there just beating you down, talking horrible to you. Your mean girl is going crazy and she is loud. I want you to pay attention to the fact that she exists, but also practice telling yourself that it's okay. That mistakes, it's part of life. It's how you learn. Failure doesn't mean that you can't keep going. I look at failure because I struggled with failure very much. But now I have grasped this idea of, because I didn't do well with that thing, I got a lot of information. Now, do I want to move forward and try again and implement the information that I gained? Or do I just I don't want to do that anymore. Either is fine. It's not good or bad. It's just a decision that I'm going to make, and I'm going to try again. And it's a possibility that a good couple times it's not going to work. But every time I'm doing something different and I'm getting more information, and that's what I want. I also want you to challenge this belief that you have to be perfect to be loved or accepted. Start doing that inner work to love yourself unconditionally, to love yourself even though you're not perfect, to be vulnerable with yourself, to fall in love with all the messy parts of you. You don't have to have the answers, and that's okay. And you love yourself still. We teach people how to treat us. So if you don't love yourself when you're not perfect, if you are talking crap about yourself out loud, beating yourself down in front of all of these people, why would you expect them to do anything different? You're treating them how to treat you. You're teaching them how to treat you. Allow yourself to take the mask off. Figure out who you genuinely are, what you really want, what makes your heart sing, and follow that direction unapologetically. Prioritize pleasure. Now, y'all know I'm all about the pleasure. This is the place for you to be between these videos and the podcast and just being in my element. I'm all about pleasure. Satisfied life. Make time for it. Prioritize it just as much as you prioritize going to get your grandma medicine or showing up at people's events or just showing up for other people. Make time for the things that make you happy without needing to be productive. Sitting out on your front porch, watching the leaves fall from the trees. If that brings you joy, that brings you joy. If that makes you happy, go do it. Also, get reacquainted to your body. Now, remember I said that there have been plenty of times where you have betrayed your body. and your body doesn't trust you because you held your pee for 2 hours, because you didn't eat, because you didn't drink water. So now your body's like, oh, I can't trust this hoe. I can't trust her. She's not even listening to the signals that I'm sending her that we need something. Now you have to re-engage with your body and build that relationship. So things that I like, and I always suggest yoga. Let me listen to my body. I love yin yoga because it helps me determine the difference between pain and discomfort. And just because something is uncomfortable doesn't mean we don't do it. But there are some things that are painful and we need to back out of it. And sometimes we don't know the difference. I love to dance, sensual dance, breathing, just paying attention to what things feel like in my body. That's going to help you connect to your body and use that as a way to make decisions. And affirm yourself. I am worthy. I am valuable. I do deserve to be here. I can show up for myself. Talk nice to yourself. Talk nice to yourself in the mirror. I know that people do not like mirror work. Anytime I give a client mirror work, it takes them a good couple weeks to actually do it. They're like, Natasha, I tried, didn't like it. I'm not doing it. And I give them grace, and I ask them to give themselves grace, but I don't let them stop, because you need to see yourself telling yourself that you love yourself and that you love every ounce of you. That's how you start to develop that relationship with your body, with you, and create boundaries. Create boundaries around the perfectionism that you have in relationships. Okay, that means honor your no. Your no is going to be a Hail Mary saving grace when it comes to decreasing your perfectionism. Because you're going to stop doing things that you're doing just because. Half of the stuff that you're out here doing is not because you want to. It's because you want to portray this particular image, because you want to please other people. Stop doing things that don't serve you. Will people be disappointed? Absolutely. But you need to know if these people are here for you because of who you are in this world, or are these people here because of what you can do for them. Honey, if they get upset because you decide to take care of you, they don't need to be around. Now let me say this. Give the people in your life a little space and grace to process this new version of you. They don't know this version. So sometimes it takes a little longer for them to do that. But if they're willing to come along on the ride and they're willing to accept this new version of you and they're happy for you in any way that they can, they just need to process it a little bit because you're acting different. That's one thing. But if somebody just straight off gets pissed off because of who you are becoming, a better version of yourself, we have to question their motives, okay? And I want you to start having the conversation that you struggle with perfectionism. See, just like I could sit here and have this conversation with you and say, I struggle. It's hard for me. It's hard for me to release control. It's hard for me to ask somebody to do something and they don't do it the way that I want them to. It is cringy in my body. But I had to learn tools and talk to myself in a way that's like, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. It's fine. Breathe. Especially as a mom of a teenager. Just woosah. It'll be okay. And also feeling like I don't need to go behind someone and do what they've already done, because I don't want to do that and it takes away from my energy. So be self-aware and honest that you struggle with perfectionism, and find safe spaces to get support so that you're not alone. You are not alone. You will be hard pressed to find a Black female that is either struggling with perfectionism or is recovering from it, to not find one. They're everywhere. I'm almost feeling like it's safe to say that just about all of us deal with perfectionism in some shape or form. And last but not least, let's celebrate the small wins. A win is a win. Progress is progress. Stop moving the goalpost on yourself. We're so goal oriented, and that's not a bad thing, but our adrenaline runs off of checking off those lists and those goals. So much so that we don't even celebrate the old check marks that we made. Celebrate with people that you love. Celebrate with people that are going to hold you accountable to celebrating. It's not about being perfect. It's about, if you took one step today, celebrate that one step. There is not a reason why you shouldn't be celebrating yourself every day, because I know for a fact that you're probably doing something every single day that's a win, and you deserve to be celebrated. And if no one wants to celebrate you, you got to celebrate yourself. Okay? Like, let's start doing that. I hope that this was really helpful for you in understanding where perfectionism comes in your life, how it's not helping you. It's not getting you where you think it's getting you. And there are things that you can do to start moving forward. Now, it may take a little while for you to notice that your perfectionism is decreasing, and that's okay. This is a journey. We're not sprinting. This is going to be a lifelong journey. And I want you to know that you can do this, and you are supported. You are not alone. alone. I am here. Feel free. You can join my newsletter where I am constantly giving out tips and tricks for you to prioritize your pleasure, to care for yourself, to rest, to prioritize self-care that is not this grand scheme that everyone keeps pushing, but the very basics of, I just need you to go to the bathroom. I just need you to eat lunch away from your desk. I'm here to support you. So if you enjoyed this, share it, subscribe, stay in the orbit, because this is what I am about. I want you to experience the most satisfied life possible. You deserve your desires. You deserve your wants. And you deserve to be loved and supported for who you really are, not for how you can show up for other people. So drop any comments that you have. I love you so much. I really do. And I cannot wait to see how you grow in this relationship with pleasure, in this relationship with yourself. And I will talk to you in the next video.